YouTube, we're back with another video, and today we're going to be checking out the Joker tier list for the full release of Balatro. Now, there's a lot of ways to play the game. There's a lot of ways to enjoy the game. I'm your average player. I'm your Joe Schmo. So I'm going to be approaching this from an average player. If I saw this in the shop, if I saw these Jokers in the shop, how would I rank them? Would I take them? And that's how they're going to stack up here, okay? So there may be some controversial takes. There may be some things that you don't agree with. Just remember that everybody plays the game differently, and it's all for fun. Let's jump into it, shall we? First off, Jimbo, the original Joker, +4 mult. Pretty straightforward. It's good early on. Is it the best Joker of all time? Probably not. That's a solid C tier for me. Then we have our greedy, lusty, wrathful, and gluttonous Joker. These are all +4 mult for their associated suit. Pretty straightforward. Great Jokers early on, but I'm gonna put all these in the same category. I think these are also a solid C tier. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking of it, this is per card. This is per suit. This is a flat 4. These deserve a little bit better than a flat 4. These are 4 per card. So if you're playing flushes like I do, I play them a lot, these are going to be great for you. Coming up next, our jolly, zany, mad, crazy, and droll Jokers. These are all plus mult associated with the hand. I'm going to do some quick maths right here for you guys. All these, both their mult equivalents and their chip equivalents, those are a solid C tier for me. There's nothing wrong with them, but I don't need to wax poetic about every single one of these because, you know, they're not bad. They're not great. I think they're a solid C tier. I don't think that's a controversial take. I think they're average. I think they're good. Take them early on. These are probably your first sells. Half Joker. This is +20 mult if your played hand contains 3 or less cards. I think this is a solid B. You can have a lot of fun with this. This is great for high card runs, pair runs, 3 of a kinds. I think this is a valuable Joker, but I also think it has its limitations, but I think it's a solid B tier. Stencil, +1x mult per available Joker slot. This was a big one in the early demos. Everybody loves Stencil. Everybody wanted Stencil. Now that the game is opened up, I don't know if this is as powerful. I think this is still good. I'm going to leave this in A tier for now. I did have a run recently where I got this in the first shop on a ghost deck, which gave me a hex, which made me turn this into poly. So I had an immediate X5 mult. Not bad. I think it's good. I think it's a solid A tier though. S tier is going to be reserved for things that I find particularly valuable. But that being said, Four Fingers, welcome to the S tier. Is it controversial? Maybe. This is going to help you make straights easier. It's going to help you make flushes easier. Straight flushes easier. Royal flushes easier. Flush houses easier. Basically any type of flush you want, this bad boy can do it. I think this is a huge, solid S tier Joker. The first one, welcome to the S tier, buddy. Yeah, it doesn't score anything, but it helps you make scoring a lot easier. Mime. Now, I do know that Mime has done me well. This re-triggers all in-hand card abilities. So your steals, your gold cards. This is big for high score runs. I know this. Is this a common Joker for me? No. Have I learned its value? Yes. I think this is a solid A tier Joker, especially if you get a bunch of steals going. That's going to be huge. That's going to get big mult for you. This one, I think people are going to disagree with. Bank card, I feel like is really valuable. Mostly because I like spending money. So I'm going into the negatives. I'm going into the -20s because this is free money. This is basically free. I know you got to climb your way out of it, but if you get a Wraith or some Temperances, that's going to get your money back very easily. If you need to climb out of that hole, it's not impossible. Because if you buy a bunch of stuff early on, you can go a couple rounds without having a positive balance. So I think bank card, I think a lot of people are going to put it down here and maybe even skip. I kind of like it in the B tier. Ceremonial Dagger. When the blind is selected, destroys a card to the right and permanently adds double its sell value to mult. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not taking this that much. I know that people can build some wacky runs around it. This is either a D tier or a low C tier to me because this is a Joker that I classify as micromanagey Joker, which means I gotta pay attention to it. So if I forget to move it at the end of a run and I forget to move it before the blind starts and I lose a good Joker, I mean, obviously that's on me, but I'm probably not gonna be using this too much. I do think it's valuable in the right circumstance, but you got to work on this. Banner. I like Banner a lot. Banner is great early on. So in the first, 3 blinds, you're going to be wanting to play flushes, full houses, straights if you can get them. And this is going to be great for that because it gives you +40 chips per remaining discard. So if you're not discarding at all and maybe you picked up some things that give you extra discard, this is huge chip. I think it's a solid B tier, if not A tier. Mystic Summit, +15 mult after you discard everything. I think that's going in C tier for me. +15 mult to get rid of all your discards. It can hurt you. It also can be valuable early on if you're searching for straights, if you're searching for flushes, stuff like that. But you can discard yourself into a wall. So like this has its downsides. Maybe a B. I'm going to put it in C tier though. Marble Joker. Adds a stone card at the start of every round. I don't have a lot of experience with it. I've taken this a couple times. It's added some stone cards. This will pair really well with a hologram. I don't know if I would be taking this a lot. Marble Joker stands in the YouTube comments. Please don't come for me. It's just not something that I would use a lot. And if this came up in the shop and I was trying to teach a new player like what Jokers to take, I'd say avoid this one for now. Maybe come back to it when you get a better understanding of synergies. Loyalty card. X4 mult for every 6 hands you play. This is also really micromanaging. You're probably saying, Murphy, you're putting a lot of stuff in C. This is huge. X4 mult. You just got to play 6 hands. It also like jiggles when it's ready. Yeah, X4 mult is great, but that's 6 hands I got to play. I might be putting this one down in D tier. I don't take it that often, but trying to time things right can be a struggle. That's all I'll say. I think this is a D tier one for me. Maybe low C tier. 8 ball. Everybody loved 8 ball in the demo when it gave out tarot cards. It now gives out planet card. You play 2 8s, 2 or more 8s, you get a planet card. But honestly, I'm gonna be skipping this one if I see it in the shop. That's just me. Misprint. It gives you anywhere from 0 mult to 23 mult. It's random. This can be your enemy or this can be your best friend. I think this is a great joker early on. I think it's a great joker even through the mid game. If you have some other established mult and X mult and chip already available for you, I think Misprint's a solid beat. Dusk. Retrigger all played cards on the very last hand of the round. Retrigger cards are very valuable. This does require a little bit of work, but I think the benefit for this, playing all your hands, if you can time it right, I think it outweighs the negatives of playing all your hands. Yeah, it's gonna hurt you with your money, but if you're getting into the endless game, you're probably not too worried about money. You're trying to get big scores. I'm honestly gonna put that. I think I'm gonna put this in A tier. I may come back to this and move it down to B tier, but just know that this one's on the cusp. Raised Fist adds double the rank of the lowest card in your hand, not what you played, in your hand, to mult. So if your lowest card is 4, it's gonna give you 8 mult. Card is a face card or an ace, it's gonna give you anywhere from 20 to 22. I think this is good early on. I think this is a solid joker. This is probably one of the first ones you replace with maybe like an abstract or something that gives you like a solid mult. But I think this is, if you don't have any better option, I think this can carry you for a little while. And I think it's solid, so I'm going to put it in B tier. Chaos the Clown. Free reroll. I'm not taking this that often. I did run into a circumstance where I had a little bit of money and an open slot, and this was actually cheaper than the reroll. So I picked it up, rerolled once, sold it, got a free reroll out of it essentially, or a discounted reroll out of it. I don't think it's that solid though. I'm putting that one in D tier. Fibonacci. The sequence that we all love. 2, 3, 5, 8 aces plus 8 mult when scored. If you're running like a 5 of a kind ace build, full house ace build on abandoned deck, like this is the card you want on abandoned deck. This card is great. I think this is a solid card. Maybe I'm valuing this a little bit too high. If I see Fibonacci, I'm like, oh, Fibonacci. I'm putting that up in S tier with fingies right now. And people are probably going like, Murphy, what are you talking about? Why is Mime not up there? Why is Stencil not up there? This is just how I play. Fibonacci is a solid S tier, and I think it's really valuable. Steel Joker gains, I believe, 0.5 X mult per steel card in your deck. So it doesn't matter if it's in your hand, doesn't matter if it's scored. In your full deck, any steel is going to buff this up. I think this is really powerful. Anything that adds X mult in a passive way, like just making chariots. I mean, even if you put like 3 or 4 steels in your deck. So I think that's a solid S tier. Scary Face. Played face cards give 30 chips when scored. I think this is solid though. 30 chips per card. I think this is a solid B tier, maybe a C tier. I think I like Scary Face. I take it from time to time. I think it's good for face card builds. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that in C tier for now. Abstract Joker, plus 3 mult for each joker that you have. So if you have a full deck, you got 15. If you get some negative cards, 18, 21. Early on, if it's your only joker, it's like plus 3 mult. That's not bad. Yeah, it's worse than Jimbo, but you're gonna be getting other jokers. So like if I have Raised Fist in my joker slot right now, I see this in the shop, I'm saying to myself, this could be 22, this could be 4, but this is a solid 15. If I have a full deck, this is a solid 15 every time. I'll be taking it over Raised Fist. So I think Abstract belongs in the B tier. Delayed Gratification. Gain $2 per discard if no discards are used by the end of the round. This is a great money joker though. If you're not discarding, this is a great money joker. I am going to put this in C tier because most of the time I'm not going to be taking this, and I think new players, they're going to be discarding a lot to get big hands. This isn't going to add a lot of value till they figure out the game a little bit more and shy away from discarding so much. So I got to put that one in C tier. This one's going to be controversial. In the demo, oh, people were loving some hack. Give me hack. Glass 5s, red stamp with Fibonacci. I have had tremendous runs with hack. I've had a lot of fun runs with hack. People are going to put this in S tier. People are going to put this in A tier. That's a B tier joker for me, dog. Because 2, 3s, 4s, and 5s, yeah, they're low scoring cards paired with a lot of things. Sure, this is great. paired with a lot of things, when they synergize with other things. That's the whole point of like a roguelike, right? But by itself, if this is early in the shop, maybe I take it and I build my deck around this. I'm not going crazy every time I see this. I think it's solid. I think it's a B tier. And I think in a lot of cases, it's a C tier. But I'm going to leave it in B tier because I think this won't get me in trouble. Pareidolia. Turns everything into a face card. This also can be your devil or your angle. Turning 2s into 10s, that's great. You can also run into the boss where all your face cards are debuffed. But you know, that can happen with anything. But all cards are considered face cards. I think that's a solid B tier Joker. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I wish the name was shorter. It took me like 20 minutes to figure out how to pronounce this, but it's Pareidolia. Okay. Can we get some Bananaramas in the YouTube comments right now? Because we just hit my favorite Joker. And is there going to be bias associated with this? Absolutely. Are people going to disagree with me? Sure. But boom, welcome to A tier, Bananarama. But this gives you 15 molt, solid 15 molt, and it has a 1 in 4 chance of going extinct. It's called Gross Michelle. I call it Bananarama. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit partial to it in a sense. Shop.clab.tv. But I like Banana a lot. It's a great early on Joker. You want it to go extinct now, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think it's a solid A tier. Even Stevens. Played cards with an even rank give +4 molt per card. I think this is a solid Joker. Put it in B tier. Now, its counterpart, Odd Todd, +30 chips. This is your aces. This is your 3s. 5s, 7s, 9s. I play a lot of aces. I think, honestly, this is a strong one. I think that Odd Todd is slept on. He's giving you a little wink, knowing that he knows he's good. You just don't see it yet. Scholar. Speaking of aces, played aces give +20 chips and +4 molt. So this is kind of combining even Steven and Odd Todd. They put their minds together and they graduate to college. Aces are some of the best things that you can play. I like Scholar a lot. I'm going to put that one in the A tier. Business card, 1 in 2 chance of getting $2 per face card played. I'm going to put this one in C tier. I don't take it often, but if you pair this with Oops All Sixes to double your probabilities, this is going to hit a lot more often. I think this is a C tier Joker. There's other Jokers that give you better util money wise. So I'm gonna put this one in C tier for now. Superposition. Superposition is fantastic for checkered deck. High cards, pairs, heck, even 3 of a kind. It was really good in the demos. I think it's taken a back seat a little bit to some of these other Jokers. So this gives you molt equivalent to the number of times you have played a hand. So if you've played 55 high cards, this is going to give you 55 molt. I don't think it's bad, but I think this is like top of C tier, maybe low B tier. I have not been taking it that much in the full release. Space Joker, 1 in 4 chance to increase your hand played. I think this is a solid A tier. So 1 in 4 chance of a free planet card for the hand that you're playing. I think this is one of the best util cards in terms of this building your chips and your molt, because when you increase your level, both your chips and your molt go up. If you can re-trigger this at all, I think this is a lot more powerful, but on its own, I still think this is a great util Joker. This sort of pays for itself after a while. Even if this gives you like 3 levels, that's 3 packs that you wouldn't have had to buy. Ride the Bus. Ride the Bus got a nerf from the demo. Yeah, +1 molt per consecutive hand played without scoring faces, and it stacks. So if you get this early on and you're in abandoned deck, this is a great abandoned deck card. But it's also got a nerf. If this was still +2, it'd probably be B or A tier, because it's scaling a lot faster, helped it a lot. It's scaling a lot slower now, has hurt it a lot. So like this is top of C tier to me. All right, moving on. Egg gives you +$3 at the end of every round. You keep this in your Joker slot for a while, builds up a lot of money, you sell that bad boy. I think this is a good util card for money. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna put it in B tier. All right, Burglar. When blind is chosen, gain +3 hands, lose all discard. Extra hands, that's great. If you can get out of the round early, that means more money. I don't take it that often unless I'm doing like a specific run. I'm gonna put this one in C tier. I think it's solid, but like this pairs really well with Mystic Summit. But I also think this is kind of middle of the road. I'm gonna put this in C tier. I know it has its merits. Blackboard, X3 molt. All your remaining cards in your hand are spades or clubs. I think this is good for checkered deck. I think this is good if you can change your deck into a specific suit. If you're working on some of these unlocks to get a certain amount of suits, I think this is going to be pretty strong for you. I'm going to put this one in a solid B tier. I still think this is a solid Joker for X3 molt. Runner, +20 chips, gains 10 chips per straight played. This stacks. Straights are very difficult to play outside of a banded deck. The math is just not there. I wouldn't recommend this for everybody though, because while it does stack your chips per hand played, playing those straights can be difficult as opposed to some of the other hands. So I'm gonna put this one in C tier. Ice Cream, 100 chips, -5 chips per hand played. This is an amazing Joker early on. We're increasing the size of B tier now to a second line, but I think this is solid B tier. I think this is a card that you want early on. Take as much advantage of it as you can and then sell it before it disappears, because after a certain time, it will go extinct like banana. D NA, Rare Joker. Welcome to S tier, buddy. The first hand of a round only contains one card. Add a permanent copy to the deck and add the duplicated one to your hand. But if you have red seals, if you have glass cards, DNA is massive. DNA is so good. DNA is basically a free death, but you don't really lose a card in the process. You gain a card. It's just duplicating it. I think DNA is a solid S tier, and I think most people would agree, if not solid A tier. Splash counts every card in scoring. So even if you don't have a straight, you can just play a bunch of gibberish cards. Every single one of them will score. I think this is great. I think this is a solid B tier. Throw some stuff up there. They're all gonna score, and that'll give you a little bit breathing room to find your next card that you need. Blue Joker. I always thought this was gonna be called like the Ice Joker or the Ice King or the Ice Queen, something like that, because it looks like it's made out of ice. This gives you +2 chips per remaining card in your deck. This is going to give you a lot of chips if you have a big deck. This is not going to give you a lot of chips if you have a small deck. Size does matter with this Joker, but also this is going to decrease for everything you discard. I think chip Jokers are underrated. Everybody wants Mult, everybody wants X Mult, everybody wants like crazy util Jokers, but I think Blue Joker has its place in the B tier. Sixth Sense. If you play a 6, you get a spectral card. It then destroys that 6. There's only 4 6s typically in most decks. I know some of them are a little bit different. And for a rare Joker, yes, it gives you a spectral. I think it's too situational. You got to be really lucky on your draws here. And it's for the first hand played. So you got to hope that you get a 6 on that initial draw, or you're going to be discarding trying to find it just to get a spectral. Is that worth it? Maybe. Would I recommend this all the time? No, I'm putting this one in C tier for now. Constellation. Gain 0.1 X mult per planet card used. I think this is a solid A tier. Yes, takes a while to build, but the value here, it makes every single planet card valuable. If you get this early on, you start building into planet cards, you're increasing your hands, you're increasing other hands that you might not need to use, but if you do, great. You now have a level 5 pair that might help you out in a pinch, and you're also increasing your X mult. I think this is a solid A tier. Hiker. This one's gonna be controversial, I feel. I think Hiker is solid. Every played card permanently gains +4 chips when scored. That's permanent. Even if you sell this, it's permanent. So you play a pair of 8s, they're now 12 apiece instead of 8 apiece. You play them again, they're now 16 apiece. I think this has really good scaling. Take this early on. Build this guy up, because then you can sell him later and you still keep all that buff that he gave you. I think this is valuable. I think he's underrated. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Because like with Supernova and Bust, after you sell them, they go away. This stays around even after you sell it, which is why I think this is a solid A tier. And Faceless Joker. Discard 3 face cards, get $5. Good money. Am I taking this a lot? Probably not, because I'm discarding 3 solid cards scoring wise for money. There's better ways to make money. There's better ways to make money in this game. I'm putting them in C tier. Maybe I'm sleeping on him. Okay. I am going to be skipping Green Joker if I see him in the shop. 1 mult per hand played, -1 per discard. If you don't have anything to discard, he basically scales infinitely like a better Supernova. If you're playing a lot of hands and you have Burglar and you have a lot of hands to play, sure. But that depends on me having Burglar and probably depends on me having Mystic Summit. Maybe I don't see the value in it. But personally, I'm probably skipping Green Joker when I see him in the shop. I'm sorry. Okay. Superposition. Bam. Welcome to the B tier. This is a little bit of a meme. I do this mostly because in the last tier list, people put him in D tier. This bad boy is sick with abandoned deck. He's sick with abandoned deck. Yeah, but Murphy, you said like some of these are worse and they're only good with abandoned deck. How is Bust not better than Superposition? It only gives you tarot per ace high straight. I'm not going to explain this one. I'm just going to leave this bad boy right here. Let me know what you think about Superposition down in the comments. Is this rage bait? No, it's not. I do think it is solid though. You know what? It probably is, you know, actually lives down here in C tier, but you know what? We're going to move him on up just for the sake of this. To-do list. Gain $4 if poker hand that it says on here is, I'm skipping to-do list. I got enough to do in this game. The last thing I need is more chores. And you know, you could get this and it could be like the first thing you have is play a straight flush. I'm not going to go out of my way to try to play a straight flush just for $4. There's better ways to make money. I'm sorry. So for me, to-do list, skipping it. All right. Super Saiyan Bananarama, aka Cavendish. Welcome to S tier, buddy. X3 mult. 1 in 1,000 chance of this disappearing, going extinct, just like its counterpart, Gross Michelle. This is a common card. Yes, I know. It relies on you getting this and it going extinct early, and then this showing up in the shop. It may take a while. It may be your next hand. That's X3 molt for a common. Yeah, there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that it goes extinct, but imagine if it goes extinct. That would be hilarious. You hit the jackpot in the worst way on that one. Welcome to S tier Cavendish. Card sharp, 3x molt if played hand is already played per round. Most people are not one-shotting every single round. Sure, when you build up some stuff later on, you're gonna one-shot things, but most of the time you're gonna be playing things twice. And card sharp, 3x, I think that's great. S tier. Red card gains +3 molt if you open a booster pack and you skip it. Bop. So most of the time when I'm spending money to open a booster pack, I'm gonna be taking some. I can take a joker, sell it, get money. +3 molt for spending anywhere from $4 to $8. I think this is a little rough. But most of the time, I'm not taking this. I think this bad boy's in D tier. I'm sorry. Madness. Oh, madness. The X molt equivalent of dagger. But the difference with madness is 0.5 X molt per joker destroyed. And you don't get to pick which joker you want to destroy. It's random. That's why it's called madness. That's why he looks all wacky. This could make for a wacky run. This could end your run almost immediately. I'm putting this one in C tier because the risk is way higher than the reward. Square joker. I've come around to square joker. +4 molt if you play exactly 4 cards. Great for 4 of a kinds. They're great for 2 pairs. Pairs well with pants. I've come around to square joker. I'm putting them in the B tier because it stacks and they don't need to score. They just need to be played. Just so you can play a high card, throw 3 things in there. I think it's a solid B tier joker. Seance. If a poker hand played is a straight flush, it triggers a spectral card. I'm putting them in B tier. Because just listen to me. I know this is highly situational. Get a 4 fingers, get a shortcut, and then get a blueprint. You have essentially created a spectral printer. I have done this. Double spectrals, every straight flush. Straight flushes are easier to make. If you can build into this, the world is your oyster. I think this has a better upside than 6 cents, so I'm putting this one in the B tier. Riff Raff. It spawns 2 common jokers at the start of each blind. I think it's solid. Early on, this is great. This is going to give you jokers to help you get through the blinds. It's going to give you jokers to sell. And maybe if you're running ceremonial dagger, it gives you jokers to feed into it. But I think it's solid early on. So I like Riff Raff, putting him in B tier. Okay, Vampire. Welcome to S tier with a caveat. 0.2 X molt per enhanced card played. This bad boy slurps up enhanced cards. It takes the enhancement off of it and turns them into X molt. There is going to be a ceiling for this. You're not going to be able to play your glass cards. However, you build this up a lot and you're running like some steals or something like that. You don't need to play them. You don't need to slurp them. This can still give you big dividends. I think this is a solid S tier joker though, with the added caveat that there is a ceiling to it. Shortcut makes straights easier, allows straights to be made with gaps of 1 rank. I think just for its value of making straights easier, I'm putting this one in A tier. Hologram. Welcome to A tier. So hologram gives you 0.25 X molt per card added to your deck. DNA pairs great with this. The downside of hologram, and the reason why it's an A tier as opposed to S tier, and I know you're saying, well, there's a downside to vampire. Why is vampire an S tier over hologram? Hologram adds things to your deck, which makes things harder to draw. If you need all of your red stamp glass aces to show up and you have 80 cards in your deck, it's going to be a lot harder. Oh, Vagabond, probably my favorite util card. $3 or under, it'll give you a tarot card for every single hand played. That is basically a free pack every single time you play a hand. Welcome to S tier. But Murphy, you need to have no money. You need to have no money. Yeah, it could give you a temperance. But Murphy, well, I need money because, I'm running bull. Okay, yeah, maybe don't take a Vagabond then. But early on, free tarots, that can set you up for glory. I think this is probably the strongest util joker because you can also sell them if you don't want. But I think this is a solid S tier. It has almost no downsides other than the fact that your money is going to be low. It is very easy to recoup that money. And if you want to pivot out of it, you can. But I think this is one of the best util jokers and the art is amazing. Shout out to Lumpy Touch for this one. It's an S tier joker for me. Baron. Each king held in hand gives 1.5 X molt. This basically turns kings into steel cards. A tier. I have not used this a lot, but I have seen that this card is the way to break the game. If you get red stamped steel kings and a Baron and some brainstorms and some blueprints, this will give you not a number, E to the infinity power, and it will break the game. I have not used it much. I think it's very valuable, especially with those steals. I'm putting this one in A tier. Cloud9. Earn $1 for each 9 that is in your deck. It scales. It only starts you with 4 9s. You gotta either make some more, find some more, but are you really making like 30 9s? But there's ways to build money better. And we're moving on to that one right now. Rocket. Solid A tier. Oh, buddy, is Rocket good. So earn $1 at the end of the round, gain $2 when boss blind is defeated. This stacks. I had a run where I had multiples of these and I was gaining $40, $50 a round. Like, yeah, I had 2 of them, but like over the course of a run, this is huge money. High A tier. If you want to make money, Rocket is the way to go. Obelisk. Oh, Obby. You were once a darling until your nerf. You are now 0.2x mult per consecutive hand played without playing your most played poker hand. So that's a lot to take in. Basically, if you have played flushes 10 times, as long as you don't play that flush, this is going to give you X mult for every single one of them. So if you have the problem with Obelisk, basically everything goes out the window and you go, how many pairs do I have? I got to check. Okay, I played pairs 7 times, flushes at 8. Well, maybe I'll play a high card this time. And there's just a lot of minutia that I don't value it as high as it used to be valued when it was giving you 0.5x mult. I'm putting this one in C tier. Gold mask. All face cards become gold when played. I don't think this has a lot of application outside of maybe pairing this with vampire, but most of the time there's better ways to get money in my opinion. I'm putting gold mask in C tier. If you pair it with vampire though, that's an S tier. Luchador. Sell this card to disable the boss blind. I mean, there's no other application that this is valuable for other than selling it for the boss blind. I think this is strong. If you can grab this right before you're going into a boss that you know you're probably going to lose, I think this is valuable. This is one of the few ways to disable boss blinds in the game. I think it has merit in A tier. Photograph. First played face card gives X2 mult when scored. This is not that great. Having it score on play just for the first face card you score, you want your X mult at the end. Maybe if you're running like some glass faces with red stamps, sure, having that, 2x there, sure, I'm sure that's great. Most of the time, I don't think this is that valuable. Putting this one in C tier. Speaking of not valuable, I got some flack for this in the last tier list. I did. Gift card gives you $1 on each of your joker and consumable at the end of the round. This is kind of an egg. The only difference is to get the value out of this, you need to sell the other jokers. I mean, you can sell this one too. It does increase this and it's increasing your other jokers, but most of the time you probably don't want to sell your other jokers and you're probably not wanting to sacrifice them to ceremonial dagger. So this is mostly going to be a skip for me. I'm sorry. Turtle bean +5 hand size goes down each round. That's an A tier. An extra 5 cards in your hand, I think that's massive. Yeah, it goes away like ice cream. Yeah, it goes away like popcorn. I think this is valuable. 1 extra card could be the difference, but 5 is massive. So I think this has a lot of merit. Even though it doesn't last long, I'm putting bean in the A tier. Erosion +4 mult for each card you have below 52 cards. So you need to delete, destroy, immolate, hanged man cards for this to be valuable. Am I taking this all the time? No. Does this stack well if you're trying to have a very small deck to get specific cards that you want? Yes, I think this is valuable. I'm going to put this one in B tier. Reserve parking. Each face card held in hand has a 1 in 2 chance of giving $1. So this is kind of like business card. I don't play this card that much. I don't pick it up that much. Most of the time, if I have face cards in my hand, I'm probably playing them. So I'm putting this one in C tier. Mail-in rebate. Earn $3 for each discarded ace. Rank changes every round. This has more of an upside than I think reserved parking and business card does. $3 per discard is massive. This does have a chance associated with it, just like these two do, but I think this is a more manageable chance. To the moon, earn an extra $1 of interest for every $5 you have at the end of the round. If you've taken those vouchers that increase your interest that are able to be earned at the end of the round, this is massive. There's a reason why it's called To the Moon. Welcome to A tier, pal. Hallucination, 1 in 2 chance of gaining a random tarot card per booster pack opened. I think I might value this one a lot higher than most people do. This is basically a vagabond that you don't have to worry about the money. And if you have money and you're opening packs anyways, a coin flip for an extra one, that's not a hard decision to make. I like this one a lot. I think this is solid at A tier. Fortune teller. I like tarots a lot. Welcome to A tier, tarot. This is +1 mult per tarot card used. If you're running vagabond, if you're getting this guy, you're opening a lot of this scales very nicely and it's retroactive. However many tarots you played during that run is already added to this. Solid A tier joker fortune teller. I like fortune teller a whole lot. Juggler +1 hand size. Bam, welcome to A tier. I like juggler. I like juggler a lot. Makes playing, finding those cards that you need a lot easier. I'm putting this one in a solid A tier. Drunkard. You're probably thinking, hey, this is probably going to be A tier too because it's an extra discard, right? And now I'm going to put you in B tier because I can get vouchers. I can get vouchers that give me an extra. I can also get vouchers that give me an extra hand here, but like, you know, maybe these are both B tier actually. Now that I think of it, maybe these are both B tier because they can be replaced with vouchers. I take Juggler more than I do Drunkard, but I do like them both. I think in a lot of situations, Juggler is probably more valuable. You know, I'm putting Juggler back up here. Talk myself out of it. Stone Joker, plus 25 chips for every stone that's in your deck. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not really taking it unless I have Marble Joker. But for now, if I have Marble in D tier for making stones, the Joker that takes advantage of it also needs to be in D tier. Moving on. Gold Joker, plus $4 at the end of the round. A tier Joker. I think it's a no-brainer. $4 can be the difference between you having interest accruing and not. So I'm putting Gold Joker in A tier. Lucky Cat gains 0.2x mult each time a lucky card triggers. I like this card a lot. I like the way it looks, but the odds of lucky card hitting are very low. Give me that $20. Oh, I didn't get it. Okay, sure, whatever. I'm probably gonna skip it. You're probably saying, why is it not in skip tier? I've explored these. I have yet to explore this one, so I'm putting you in C tier for now. Asterisk will return at a later date. Baseball card. Uncommon Jokers give 1.5x mult. Welcome to S tier, buddy. Baseball card has made runs. For me, it's made runs for a lot of people. This is basically turning all your uncommon jokers into polychromes. Baseball card, welcome to S tier. Bull, plus 2 chips for each dollar you have. Also S tier. I've had some crazy bull runs because most of the time when I'm taking this, I'm able to build into it and I'm able to save money. I'm able to play a little bit more frugal, if you will. I save my money per round. I build up my econ and this pays off. This pays off big time. I think this is a great Joker. I think it deserves to be in S tier. People will probably put it in A tier. I'm putting this bad boy in S tier. Diet Cola, sell this card to get a free double tag. I've had this Joker be negative more times than I have ever seen it in the shop. I think if I want to skip, I'm going to play Anaglyph deck though. Very short lifespan, limited use, very situational. Hopefully you get some good skip tags. You could also not get some good skip tags. I'm putting this one in C tier. Trading card. This one's going to get me in trouble. If the first discard of a round has only one card, destroy it and gain $3. This is the Joker Hanged Man. More times than not, I'm skipping it. Here's why. If I'm going to be discarding, I'm going to want to get value out of my discards. I'm discarding because I don't like the cards in my hand and I want different cards to come in to help me make a hand to get me out of the blind. Using a discard to destroy a card to get $3 is not as valuable to me as getting a rocket or getting a gold Joker because I don't have to burn a discard, which could be the deal breaker of a run. If I just had one more discard, I could have gotten something that would work. But no, I used it on getting rid of one card for $3. I'm going to be skipping this one more times than not. Flash card, JJ. I do be re-rolling a lot. I don't be taking flash card a lot. I think this is a really good synergy with this guy down here. You're basically getting a free buff for him every single round in the shop. I do not take flash card a lot, but I do see its value. And plus 2 mult per reroll, there's a good way to scale this. But I got to put this bad boy in B tier. Popcorn, easy A tier, even with its nerf. Plus 20 mult, minus 4 mult per round played. Plus 20 mult early on is huge. Sell it before you get down to the kernels. But this is a great Joker early on. I'm putting this in A tier. All right, pants, or spare trousers, if you will, but we call them pants. This is an A tier Joker. I thought this was a meme for the longest time. Oh, everybody loves pants. Oh, pants, pants, pants. Everybody loves pants. I've come around to this. Gains plus 2 mult if hand contains 2 pair. This also works with full houses. I think this is a very valuable Joker. 2 pair is not that difficult to play. Full houses are very valuable to play. And I also don't think that they're too difficult either because you can build into a full house build relatively easy. And then this is just going to give you dividends. I think pants are a solid A tier. All Bap Joker. Welcome to S tier, buddy. I can't put the mouth Joker any lower than S tier. Is there a little bit of bias associated with this? Absolutely. This gives you 1.5x mult per suit played. The suit changes every round. Take this, play flushes, win. That's your formula, right? This is a solid S tier. It's Olbap. If you know, you know. I got to put Olbap in S tier. There will be some things that replace it, sure, but we won't tell Malf about that. Ramen, a solid X2 mult. I think ramen is good if you don't discard. If you are discarding a lot, this is probably something that you use early on and then maybe sell it down the line when it gets down to like 1.2. If you're not discarding a lot, Maybe it's an A tier. For me, I'm putting it in B tier. Walkie-talkie. Each 10 or 4 gives you plus 10 chips and plus 4 malt. So you play 10s and 4s. I think it's solid. I've had some fun runs with it. I like it. I don't love it. I think it's a solid B tier. Seltzer, retrigger all cards for 10 rounds. Welcome to A tier, buddy. I think this is a solid Joker, even late in the game, because this is going to be retriggering things for you. If you're playing glasses, if you're playing red seals, this is going to retrigger it for 10 rounds. Yes, it goes away after 10 rounds. Or sorry, not 10 rounds, 10 hands. If you're like into the position where you're one-shotting most blinds or even bosses, or you're an endless and you're trying to get big score, this will help you get big scored. I'm putting this one in A tier. Castle Joker. I want to live here. I want to go to there. This Joker gains plus 3 chips per discarded suit, and it changes every round. You discard 4, that's plus 12 chips, and it stacks, it stays. I like this card a lot. Might as well get some benefit out of my discards as opposed to you. That is going to stay with me and not hurt me. I like Castle a lot. I think it's a solid A tier. Smiley face, plus 4 malt per face card played. I think it's a solid B tier. Campfire. This Joker gains 0.5x malt for each card sold. Resets when the boss blind is defeated. I love the art of Campfire. It's one of my favorite cards visually. Problem that I have with Campfire. This is very micromanagey. You know, you got to sell Jokers, you got to sell planets, you got to sell tarots. Having to sell them every round and then having it reset. I don't think this is a bad Joker, but I am skipping Campfire. So this one's a toss-up for me. This one's a toss-up. I know this one might be a little bit controversial as well, but this one's a toss-up for me. But I am putting this in skip tier. I would rather have X malt that stays. That might be up here or even down here somewhere. Golden ticket. Played gold card earns $3 when scored. Especially if you can make all your face cards gold cards and maybe have Pareidolia and make all your cards gold. That way, every single card you play, it's like a $15 every single time. Sure, this is good. You know what? I might move this up to B tier given that situation, but it's on the edge. It's on the edge for sure. Skull and Bones. This card is awesome looking. This is your get out of jail free card. A free loss, basically, as long as your score is within 25% of the blind, but it also self-destructs. I think it's valuable. I don't think it's A tier. I think it's a B tier Joker. Maybe even a C tier Joker. Actually, I'm probably gonna put this one in C tier now that I think of it. Acrobat. 3x mult on final hand of round. 3x is gonna be big for you on the last hand. I think this is big. I think it's an A tier, maybe a solid B tier, but I'm putting this one in A tier for right now. Sock and Buskin. Retrigger face cards. All played face cards. I'm gonna put this one in B tier. I see the value in it. If you're running face card builds, maybe some glass, having them retrigger is amazing. Maybe bring this up to A tier now that I think of it. It's low A tier, maybe high B tier. Swashbuckler. Gonna put that right there. Troubadour, plus 2 hand size, minus 1 hands per round. It's a juggler that gives you a little bit more of a benefit, but also hurts you a little bit. Yeah, you're getting minus 1 hand, but if you get the grabber voucher, it kind of cancels this out, and then you get plus 2 hand size for the rest of your run. I think it's not that bad. I think I'll put it in B tier. Certificate. When a round begins, add a random playing card with a random seal to your hand. Yes, it increases your deck size. Paired with hologram, I think that's very powerful. And you're getting seals out of it. Yeah, I know it's random. I'm going to put this at the top of B tier, maybe low A tier. I know I said I wasn't going to rank things inside the tiers, but I think it's valuable. I'm going to put that in B tier. Smeared Joker. Welcome to A tier, buddy. Makes flushes easier. Hearts and diamonds count as the same suit. Spades and clubs count the same suit. Pair that with 4 fingers, makes it even easier. I'm a flush man. I'm a little bit biased on this one. I think this is a solid A tier. Throwback, 0.25x mult per skip blind during this run. This is retroactive too. So if you've skipped 4 times, you're going to get 0.25x mult for all those skipped rounds. Especially if you get those vouchers that make you go back 1 ante, then you can just, if you've already know that you can clear them, skip all 3 of those right to the boss. Boom, this goes up like crazy. So I'm going to put this one in S tier. Plus the art is sick. Hanging Chad, retrigger the first card used in scoring. I think it's valuable. I think there's better things that can retrigger. I'm going to put this one in B tier. All right, these next 4. Rough Gem, played cards with diamond suit, give $1 when scored. I think it's valuable. I'm putting it in B tier. Bloodstone, 1 in 3 chance to get X2 mult per heart card played. I think it's valuable. I'm putting it in B tier. Arrowhead, to other people it may look like something different, but I'm not going to go there. 50 chips per spade card scored. I think it's valuable. Putting it in B tier. Onyx Gate, played cards with a club suit, give plus 8 mult when scored. I think it's valuable. Putting it in B tier. I think these are right up here with their counterparts. I think they're valuable. I think they're powerful. All of these cards right here are big if you're playing flushes. If you're not going to get maximum value out of it. That's why I got to keep all these in B tier. Glass Joker. Gain 0.5x mult for every glass that is destroyed. Glass destroy a lot, but for some reason, when I take this Joker, glass does not destroy at nearly the rate that I wanted to. I think it's strong. I think it's powerful. I also ran into an issue where I chose familiar and it took one of my glass and it shattered. I heard the sound, but it did not increase this at all. I don't know if that should be the case. I think this either needs to change to when glass card is destroyed in scoring, or change it to where if you used Hangman, if you use Immolate, if it's a familiar and it takes the glass, then it gets destroyed and it gets added to that. I think this is still strong because glass does break a lot, and getting 0.5 X mult for every time it breaks, I think is powerful. I'm putting it in A tier. Showman, I think it's a solid B tier. Joker, Tarot, Planet, and Spectral cards may appear multiple times in packs, multiple times in the shop. I have had some runs where Showman has been great and it gave me some extra powerful Jokers that I liked. I've also had runs where I got Banana and I lost Banana early, but Cavendish never showed up because the likelihood of all these cards increasing, I guess 2x, pushed this down somehow, and I never got my Cavendish. So this has helped me and it has hurt me. So I'm going to put this in B tier. Flower Pot, welcome to the skip category. This gives 3x mult if you play one of each suit in scoring. I don't think I've ever taken this. Maybe I've gotten this in like a judgment, but I'm mostly going to be skipping Flower Pot pretty much every time I see it in the shop. Blueprint, welcome to S tier, buddy. It copies the ability of the right Joker. So if my right Joker is baseball card, it's going to copy all of that. Blueprint's huge. If you see a blueprint, you get a blueprint. Blueprint's an easy S tier. Wii Joker. This Joker gains +8 chips when each played 2 is scored. +8 chips is big. I think it scales a lot. Is it A tier? Probably not. Is it B tier? I think so. I haven't used Wii Joker that much. I think it has a big potential to be massive if you have a lot of 2s. So yeah, I'm gonna keep Wii Joker in B tier. Mary Andy, +3 discards, -1 hand size. It's all right. I know this changed. I don't remember what it was originally. I know this changed. I'm probably putting this in C tier. I don't see too many situations where I'm going to be taking this. Oops, all 6s. It doubles your chances for glass to break, which is not great, but it also doubles your chance for glass to break, which is great. It doubles your chance for Spaceman to hit, Banana to go away quicker, Bloodstone to hit. I think it's valuable. I'm putting it in A tier. The Idol. I have been recently informed that this is the way to break the game. So this gives you X2 mult for each card when scored, and the card changes every round. So if you are able to turn your entire deck into kings, them all into the same suit, this is the way to break the game because it's X2 mult for everything. Most of the time, I'm going to be skipping this. If this is me, I understand from a high score perspective, this is the thing you want. If I'm not trying to break the game, then let's face it, I'm not that player. I'm not that guy. I'm not taking this that often, if ever. So I'm probably going to be skipping this. Seeing double. So X2 mult if this contains a club and any other suit in scoring. I think it's good. I haven't used this that much. I don't think it's A tier. I think it's B tier. I don't know. I'd need to do a little bit more work with that to see how valuable it really is. But for now, I'm putting it in B tier. Matador, +8 if the played hand triggers the boss blind ability. So if you're playing faces are debuffed and you play a bunch of faces, it gives you +8. Most of the times you're not really wanting to do that though. I think you're maybe doing this at the start of the boss to get that $8 and that's it. But is this really worth keeping in your deck to use one time around for $8? I think there's better ways to get money. I'm putting this one in C tier. Hit the Road Jack. Gain 0.5x mult per Jack discarded. I've come around to hit the Road Jack. The only problem with this one, it resets at the end of the round. Yeah, you have to build this one back up. You don't have to sell things like you do with Campfire. I think it's a solid A tier. Astronomer. All planet cards and celestial packs are free in the shop to buff up Constellation. I think it's great. Great synergy. Gonna put it in B tier because I don't take it that often. These bad boys down here, these are all going in the same place. These are all going into a solid A tier. The duo, the trio, the family, the order, the tribe. Especially if you're playing a flush and you run into X2 mult for that. If you're playing straights, you run into 3x mult for that. You're playing 4 of a kind, 4x mult for that. 3x mult for the trio, 2x mult for the pair here. I've seen a run where someone had all 5 of these and it was wacky. They're not taking advantage of every single one of them, but I think you should get an achievement if you have every single one of these in your Joker lineup. We're getting down to the wire here. Stuntman, +300 chips, -2 hand size. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I'm putting it in B tier. Invisible Joker. Welcome to S tier. After 3 rounds, you sell this and it will duplicate a random Joker. Or if you're able to get this early, and let's say maybe, I don't know, maybe you got a Cavendish, or maybe you got a superposition, maybe you got a smiley face, and you can sell some of those and you're not too worried about it. When this is ready, you sell those other Jokers, you keep the one you want to keep, sell this, boom, double Cavendish. This is super powerful for duping Jokers. Invisible's an easy S tier for me. Another S tier, Brainstorm. Copies the ability of the leftmost Joker. This is basically just Blueprint again. Blueprint, Brainstorm. This right here is kind of how you break the game. This right here is how you break the game. Brainstorm, anything that dupes the ability of a Joker or dupes the Joker is massive. Satellite, $1 for every unique planet card used at the end of the round. I think if you're building up planet cards with Constellation, I think this is a good money maker. That ain't bad at all. That ain't bad at all. I'm gonna put that one in A tier. Shoot the Moon, plus 13 mult for each queen held in hand. I think that's a solid B tier. Haven't used this that much. Most of the time I'm playing my queens. If all of our kings had our queens on the throne, we'd pop champagne and raise a toast. But right now I'm putting this one in B tier. Driver's license, welcome to high A tier. I kind of want to put you in S tier, but you know what? I'm putting you in S tier. You want to know why? Because I'd make a lot of enhanced cards. So this is X3 mult if the deck has at least 16 enhanced cards. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not that hard to make it enhanced cards. If you're opening tarots, if you're using a vagabond, if you're using something that gives you tarots, getting enhanced cards with your empresses, with your hierophants, opening up standard packs, it's really not that hard to build this one up. And then it's a solid X3 mult. I love driver's license. It's going into S tier. Cardomancer used to be my favorite util Joker till Vagabond showed up. Solid A tier. This is a free tarot every start of every blind. Great card. I like it a lot. Burnt Joker, upgrade the level of a first discarded poker hand each round. I think this is good if you're running high cards. I think this is good if you're running pairs. If you're running flushes, if you're running straights, if you're running full houses, you're not going to want to discard. But there are better ways to scale your hands. And it's right here. And it's also just buying planet cards. I think this is a little bit risky if you're playing anything other than pairs. Bootstraps. Plus 2 mult for every $5 you have. I think it's solid, especially if you're a big money guy. Plus 2 mult for every $5 you have. I think that's pretty good. I think this scales really nicely. There's not a lot of things, if any, that give you mult for your money. Bull gives you chips for your money. I've gone through almost 150 Jokers, and I can't remember if anything gives you mult for money. I'm sure somebody will correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think this is solid. I think it belongs in A tier. And then finally, our legendaries. The final 5 cards. Perkio. I think it's an S tier. I know these are hard to get. Creates a negative copy of one random consumable card in your possession at the end of the shop. Now, you put a blueprint next to Perkio. Free negatives. Oh, buddy. Infinite deaths or infinite justices. I've seen this go crazy. I think Perkio easily belongs in S tier. Tribulate. Played kings and queens, give X2 mult when scored. I think it's a solid A tier. If you're running face cards, maybe it's an S tier. I think it's a solid A tier though. Chico. I'm skipping ahead to Chico. Disables every boss blind. S tier. This and this are the only things that disable boss blind. You don't got to worry about boss blinds anymore. Imagine you're in Endless and you get the needle. Don't worry about it anymore. You got Chico. I think it's an S tier because it disables boss blinds. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've had this save me more times than it's not. Yorick. X5 mult only after using 23 discards. X5 mult is massive. X5 mult is massive. It's hard to not put all the legendaries in S tier because they are legendary. This also requires discards. I don't remember if this is retroactive or not. Please let me know down below. But X5 mult is massive. You know, let's bring this up. Let's bring this up to the top of the A tier for these two. And then finally, last but not least, Canio. Gain 1x mult when a face card is destroyed. You're playing glass cards and it destroys. Not bad. You get a bunch of hangmans, you destroy cards. Not bad. You lose some face cards and immolate. Not bad. I think these are solid A tiers for these, but like these two just set themselves a little bit above the rest for the S tier for the legendaries. So, Balatro fans, with that being said, here is your tier list for 1.0. Screenshot it, save it, send it to your friends, post it in the Discord, say, look what this bozo put where. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm sure that there's going to be some conversation. All I ask is just know that this is my personal opinion. If there's something on here, if your favorite Joker is down in skip tier, just know that it's nothing personal. It's just either how I play the game or how I would recommend this to either a first time or an early player. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.